So I have my 5 things that I usually talk about with my clients in my meetings. These are things that I see. I know the planners are all at the back, and I'm going to keep looking back because I know they're going to be like, oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah. These are things that I've seen not because I'm such a great DJ and I know the answers to everything. It's because I've been to so many weddings and I've been sitting behind the DJ booth and I've watched these things happen over and over again that I was finally able to pick out certain things. Like I say, if you do these things right, things will probably go a lot better than if you forget about them or don't think about them at all. So the first thing is such an important thing at the early stages is the layout. So first of all, you have to pick a place. If you want it to be a great dance party, and I saw a lot of people didn't actually put up their hands, so maybe some of the people in the room don't want it to be the best party ever, but a lot of people do want it to be the best it can be, right? You want it to be great. So if you pick a venue where the dance floor is in another room or a total secondary thought to the party, everyone will know that from the moment they walk in the room. If the dance floor is right in the middle of the party, everybody knows that's a focus, right? So where is the dance floor? How big is the dance floor? I always have people saying, well, the dance floor is not going to be big enough because we have 200 people and we need a dance floor that we can put 200 people on. Well, you never have all 200 people dancing at the same time unless it's a Jewish wedding and it's right at that moment when everybody gets up, they dance around, and they go back. Every other wedding, maybe you have half the people at once. So you don't want to have a giant dance floor and then it always feels empty. You want to have a compact dance floor. Like when you're in a club, right? You're in a good club and everyone's like this. That's like, yes, this is awesome. It's packed, right? That's what you want it to feel like on your wedding too. So a smaller dance floor, always to be considered, okay? Seating. This is something that I don't know how people don't think of this, but they put tables or couches near or around the dance floor. Now, I don't know about you, but I don't want to go to a party and be dancing and have people sitting there watching me while I'm dancing, right? So don't put couches near the dance floor. If you're going to have couches anywhere, put them away. But if you have to have something around the dance floor, it should be something that's going to be conducive of the party, like the ability to put the lights down, right? We don't want bright lights on the dance floor. You don't want to feel like there's spotlights on you. You want to feel like it's dark and that nobody's really watching you. They're kind of just like watching everybody. So lighting is very important. Having good party lighting that you can throw up when you put the house lights down. And some venues have this, and some places we have to bring it in. Another thing is, where are the speakers in the room, right? Some venues have speakers built into the ceilings. Sometimes we bring in speakers. Sometimes they have an AV company that sets up the whole room. And I'm amazed how seldom people think about where are the speakers going to be in relation to the party when the party's actually happening, and in relation to grandma who hates loud music. Because without a doubt, without fail, whenever I walk into the room and I'm like, oh, this is pretty good, and then the guests start showing up, and then grandma's tables are right by where the speakers are. And it's terrible because during dinner we have to turn everything down because they're complaining. And when we want to fire it up for dancing, we can't because they're going to be upset, right? So when you're doing your table layouts too, plan to put the speakers as close to the dance floor as possible, and whoever's leading the music, whether it's a DJ or a band, they should be front and center to the dance floor, right? If we're off on the side and the dance floor is over here, it's really hard to feel like kind of connected to what's going on, right? So the positioning of the DJ or the band versus the dance floor versus the head table. My preference, generally speaking, if this was the room and this was the dance floor, the bride and groom would be on that end, I'd be over here, the dance floor is in the middle, set up the lights so they're going down to the floor in the middle. And then people can come from the sides, you know? Or go to the side, like the furthest from the door. So if that's where people come in, the DJ booth could be over here, and this could be the dance floor here, and these are all the tables. So it's kind of like the basement of the house party, you know, like the furthest point away. But wherever the dance floor is, the most important thing is, where is the bar? This is not a joke. This is serious, okay? You can instantly kill your party with this decision. If the bar is out there, you're toast. It doesn't matter who you hire. It doesn't matter how much fun your guests are. If the dance floor is in another room, you're just asking for it to suck. There's no question about it. So I tell people, if your venue says, oh, this is what we normally do, we put the bar outside, tell them this time it's going to be different. The bar should be right next to the DJ booth, or at least on the other side of the dance floor and nowhere else. Nowhere else. Think about, now this is it, I'm going to call it back. Think about that really fun wedding you went to, and think about the not so fun wedding you went to. Where was the bar? Where was the dance floor? Anyone disagreeing with me yet? No, thank you. Okay, number 2, the music direction. So obviously you have to hire somebody who sees the vision the same way you do. So if you're having a Greek wedding, you can't expect it to be a Greek band who's also going to nail all the top 40 songs, right? So you have to hire the right person for the vision. So obviously there's a lot of things you can do to find the right person. The same tips as a makeup artist. You go online, you read reviews, you talk to people. But ultimately, I actually think it's just as important the direction that you give the person you hire than it is just hiring somebody who's amazing. So the direction is going to be, what do you like? What do you want them to play? How's it going to represent your guests? So I usually tell my clients, don't give me a list of 50 songs you want to hear on the dance party night, because that's not really that helpful. It's hard to script in advance what it's going to be like and who's going to be liking what. But I like to know what my couples like. So if there's certain artists that you like, certain genres that you want represented, put those down. Give me your whole iPod if you want. Just let me scroll through and see all the people you like. That's great. But a long list of this, 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 and this is not helpful, because we never know what's going to happen. Even from one night to the next night, the same list might not work. So you make a direction list of what you're interested in, not a specific list of this, 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 and this. Okay? That makes sense, right? People also always say the same thing, is like, well, this is the first time I'm planning a wedding, and I want to make sure everybody's happy. We all want everybody to have a good time. But to specifically say, you have to play a music from every generation to cover every single person, or every ethnicity has to have some music representation. I've had this experience many times where people say, oh, we are, two different cultures coming together, so we have to have some Indian music, and we have to have some Greek music, and we have to have this and this. Give the direction that's actually going to work for your party. So if the Indian side of the family really likes to dance, that would be good to have lots of songs that are going to be representing them. But if the Greek side doesn't like to dance, we shouldn't be splitting the night in half and playing half and half just to appease both sides, okay? And the only way we're going to know that is because you're going to know from having gone to all your family functions and other parties. So that direction is very important, because I've had weddings where they said, my grandparents need to hear these songs, my parents have to hear these songs, and by the end of the night, there's nobody left, because nobody really liked what was going on except for a few people at a time. So that direction is very important, because once you give that to me or whoever you're hiring, we're going to take it very seriously. We're going to run with it, okay? Okay, this one is kind of a fun thing, but I call it hyping the party. This is number 3. Again, you can think about those good and bad ones that you went to. You are the promoter of your wedding. It's like nobody else is going to make it seem like it's going to be fun other than you. So you have to be excited about the fun of your wedding. You have to hire someone who's going to make it fun for you. But you have to also go and tell everybody who's coming that this is going to be a really, really fun night. Get a babysitter, bring your comfy shoes, whatever you got to do to tell people so that they're relaxed and they come excited about having a good time. If they think it's going to be a very stuffy, formal affair, it will be that. They'll plan to leave early, and it won't be a really fun dance party. So you got to hype it up. You got to tell people you got somebody really good to give the music, and it's going to be awesome. And this is my most hated, biggest mistake people ever make. Hopefully none of you who have your weddings coming up soon have done this. Everybody else, please don't do this. Do not pull your guests for song requests 3 months in advance of the wedding. Do not put a little piece of paper in the invitation asking people what they want to hear. Do not have a website where they go and fill in all the songs they want to hear. Nothing says we have no idea what we're doing, like asking everybody else to tell you what to do, right? You don't ask everybody else what flowers you should be having, right? or what food we should be serving that night. So why people do this about the music, I have no idea. But if people want to make requests on the night of, any good DJ or any band will respond to that well. But a list that people fill in advance, first of all, we have no idea who fills that out. It's not necessarily the person who's going to be dancing. It's just someone who was in front of their computer or whatever. It has no representation of the good times that are happening on the dance floor or what time in the night. You know, some weddings start off slow and build. Some go hard and then filter off. The pre-request list is the hardest thing for us ever to work with. Most of the time, my couples get them, and they'll tell me in the meeting if they didn't have this advice. They say, so we polled our guests, and we got this list, and it's terrible. It's just terrible. What should we do with it? I'm like, well, you got to give it to me because you told people they could make requests, so I got to look at it. But it's not going to be representative of you guys. So it's really, really useless. So think back. Maybe there was a wedding that you got asked to poll your request to, and then you went there and see if you remember if it was on the good or the bad end. Okay, the photographers. I love to see what their reaction is when I say this. We all love having photographers there and videographers there if you're going that route. But at a certain point in the night, this is a huge one. The cameras have to go away. They got to get turned off and they got to go, because I can tell you how many times I've seen the moment the pros leave, the change of the vibe in the room. So many people do not want to be on camera letting loose. They just don't want to do it, right? So you wait, they sit at their table and they wait. They see the photographers go and then they get up. It is true. Believe me, I see it happen all the time. Another thing that happens with the cameras is sometimes people hire, I don't know, dancers or entertainment group or something that is kind of like a showcase on the dance floor. The hardest thing about that is if you have that happen right before you want everyone to then start dancing. Everybody's going to be watching like a show, and then you guys kind of say to us, okay, and then start the party. And everybody in the table is like, well, I can't follow that up, so I'm not getting up. I'm not going to be the first one up. So it has this reverse effect, and it scares people away. It doesn't encourage people to come dance. The best way to get people to get up and dance is after the first dances and the cameras have captured all the special moments, lower the lights, put the cameras away, put on some fun music, and get everybody up. That is the pattern that I recommend. I always say, let's do your first dance, your parents' dance, and then we'll open it up. We'll maybe do one slow song so that every couple can get up, and then let's go into party mode and put the cameras away. Sorry to the photographers. I know they don't always like that one, but the last one, it's number 5. It's the most important one, because this is true of any party, anywhere. It doesn't matter if it's your wedding. It could be a house party with you and 10 friends. If you want your party to be a fun dance party, you have to be the most fun dancing person at your wedding. Think back now. Good party, bad party. There's no way you can disagree with this one. Because if at the best party you went to, the bride was outside talking to one of our bridesmaids all night, it can't have been. It's not possible, because everybody's there for you. When it's your wedding, they're there for you. They want to party with you. They want to have a good time. The best weddings are the ones where the bride and groom are fun people who want to have fun, and they're on the dance floor the entire time. They get their friends to get their drinks for them. They don't say goodbye to guests at the door. They say goodbye to them on the dance floor. I'm telling you, it's true. If you want it to be amazing, you nail yourself to the middle of the dance floor. You dance with anyone who's there, kids, old people, each other, hopefully, But the ones where the bride and groom have their first dance and then walk off the dance floor and I never see them again, it doesn't matter. All the other stuff becomes obsolete when that happens. You have to be the excitement, the energy. The bride is like the queen bee of the night, and everyone just gonna circle around her. I've had weddings where I told them this in the meeting, and then I had to go and get them from the other end of the room and lead them back to the dance floor. I'm like, nobody's dancing because you're not here. They're following you. Come over here, and sure enough, Bride comes, table of girls who are waiting, come around, dancing around. Other people from over there come down. I have a picture of this on our site. It is the bride in the middle, and there's like 3 rings. And this was the party where I went and got her from the back and brought her onto the dance floor. Okay? That's my 5 tips. They're universal. I would love to answer any questions you have, and I will absolutely be at the back later for any questions individually. Who wants to start? I'm sure that everybody's got opinions about music too, so.
We can take a couple questions, if anyone has.
Do you think the venue determines the type of dance party you have? Because, say, people are focused on having a massive dance party, it should be more in a hall. But then if they still want to achieve that massive party, maybe if they did it more in a rustic, like golf course, if you can get that same feel. What have you seen?
I don't think the venue has to do with it, no. I think it's about the layout inside each venue. And it has nothing to do with the numbers. I had a 25-person wedding at Canoe, and it was one of the most fun weddings I ever had. Because the bride and groom were awesome, and all 25 people danced from 9 till 1. It had nothing to do, and it's a restaurant, it's not normally. You know, we brought in the right speakers, a few well-positioned lights, and that's all it needed, you know? You've probably had great parties in someone's house, in their kitchen, right? It's, you know, it's not about where it is. It's a good question, though.
Anyone else?
I better get at least one guy asking a question.
I'm just wondering how you handle if the DJ doesn't take requests the night of. You find that out.
So when I have my meetings with my clients, I tell them it's up to them what they want to do. I generally feel like no matter who you hire, the DJ or the band should use their discretion with requests. So once I have your direction, then I know that if someone asks for something that fits in that it's going to be a good choice. And if someone asks for something that you've specifically said we're not into that, or I think what I'm seeing, it's not going to work within that. But then I've also had ones where the bride and groom will say in their speech, like, that's Danny, and he knows what he's doing, so don't talk to him. And I've had other ones where they're like, yeah, we want everybody to have their request taken. So that's individual to each client. But generally speaking, I think the best way to go is, yes, we're there to like listen to people and hear what they're saying, but I usually like to take the requests from the people who are in the middle of the dance floor who come over to me and ask me for something and then go back, not the person who's over there sitting at their table asking me for red wine, because that was his dance at his wedding. You know, don't ask me for red wine ever, by the way. That's like, that's on my do not playlist. Yeah, I got a guy.
Representing
All right.
the guys here. So what are your thoughts on lighting if we're in a more classic venue? On the one hand, we don't want it to look like a nightclub. On the other hand, we don't want people to be dancing in pitch dark.
It's a great question. So at the point in the night when the dancing happens, I think it's the time to transition the room. You know, I always try to tell people that imagine you're in a nice private restaurant and all of a sudden it's like the music just fires up and in the room, nothing changes, you know? You just want to have at least something that can change the room, lower the main lights a little bit, fire up a couple of lights that just, you know, chase some patterns or something to make it feel like the energy has changed. It can be a small thing. It doesn't have to be lasers and, you know, things that go like this, you know, like I'm just talking about some nicely positioned LEDs that can, you know, chase to the music just to make it feel more like a party. At minimum, just a few lights, you know.
But I like the lasers.
No, you don't. You're lying.
All right, Danny will be around
Yes.
The rest of the afternoon if you have any questions for him as well.
Cool.
And I actually found Danny a number of years ago when I finally had a client who said, I want like the best dance ever, and I want a really good DJ, and I'm okay to spend like, I don't care how much it costs. And not that Danny's even expensive for what he does, but, and so that's how I met Danny. And that night, it was like a 300-person wedding at the Four Seasons, and they danced until like 2 or 3 a.m. when the lights turned on.
Yeah.
Because like everyone was out of town, they were like excited, and the music was great.
But they were also a great couple.
Yes,
and that's
that
what
as well.
that's
That
what
as
really
well.
helps.
Yeah, and they wanted a fantastic dance.
Yeah.
So.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay.